Deal 47, on the grind for real all day, revisiting as much rugby league information as possible. Right now, a special edition, not one of the wooden spoons, just a little something that I thought I'd throw in, just because it was a unique, rare little something. Illawarra Steelers versus North Queensland Cowboys Games in the Australian Rugby League. Only 3 of them ever played, believe it or not. And as per always, if you don't want to miss any essential rugby league information, you need to watch this video all the way to the end. So let's go and pop it off and get straight into it. So, a little bit of explaining first of all for people who are new to the channel and don't know all the teams that participated many years ago. In Australian Rugby League, there was a team called the Illawarra Steelers who played their home games at Wollongong Stadium and participated in the competition the years 1982 up to 1998. And in 1995, a new team entered the competition, the North Queensland Cowboys. They're still around today. That's the same Cowboys that play in the comp today. So what this meant was the only years that both North Queensland Cowboys and Illawarra Steelers were in the competition at the same time were the years 1995 up to 1998, but not even 1997. Because, of course, in 1997, Australian Rugby League had a Super League war going on, and there was actually 2 competitions, for those of you who don't know yet. And Illawarra Steelers were in the ARL competition in 1997, whereas the Cowboys, they were in the Super League competition. So obviously they didn't play each other in 1997. So what that meant was they only ever played each other once each in 1995, 1996, and in 1998. So Illawarra Steelers versus North Queensland Cowboys, that particular matchup only ever happened 3 times in the history of rugby league. 2 pretty well recognised, moderately successful teams, but they only ever actually managed to play each other 3 times in their whole history, which I find quite baffling for two pretty good teams as they were. So the first time they ever played each other, there's a whole storm of kerfuffle, a whole storm of controversy going on. The first time they ever played each other was 1995 round 8 game. And like I said, Cowboys were new boys that just entered the competition, and going into the game, they had still not won a game yet, searching for their maiden victory, but were showing promise, were showing signs of getting a few wins eventually. Whereas Illawarra, they were actually turning pear-shaped and they were torn apart, as their excellent coach Graham Murray had just been sacked a few weeks earlier. And of course the Super League war was taking hold, and Illawarra unfortunately were one of the casualties of said war. So, and then Illawarra's on-field performances in 1995 obviously dipped accordingly with all that such nonsense going on. So what that meant was, going into the game, Illawarra Steelers versus North Queensland Cowboys, Illawarra Steelers in very, very low form, understandably slow, but still in very poor form. Cowboys not also in poor form, but at least looking like they might spring an upset eventually. That's exactly what they did. Humiliatingly for poor old Steelers, 1995 round 8, the first game that the North Queensland Cowboys ever won. They happened to beat poor old Steelers 14 points to 10 in an afternoon game at Wollongong, to the bitter disappointment of the faithful home ground, I should say. And those of you who don't know, Steelers had some of the most passionate fans that any team's ever had. So that would have been, that would have rubbed further salt in the wounds, added further insult to injury, despite what was going on off-field for the Steelers already. So eventually, Cowboys getting 3 tries to 2, the Cowboys 14 points, 2 tries by the winger David Bouvang, and 1 try by the centre Adrian Vowles, and Adrian Vowles also landing 1 goal, so that was their points, their 14 points. And for Illawarra, Brett Rodwell and Sean Skelton getting 1 try each, and Rod Wishart landing 1 goal for Illawarra, and that was their 10 points. So that was the first of 3 times that they ever played each other. Unfortunately for Steelers, they just happened to run into Cowboys at the wrong time, when Cowboys were due for their first ever win, and Illawarra obviously going through hell and couldn't buy a win at that point in time. Then, the next year, the second last time that they would ever play each other, unbelievably, but they played each other again in 1996 round 8, this time up at the Cowboys' home ground, up at Townsville. And Illawarra, of course, even though they were still going for the Super League rubbish, at least they managed to take the revenge, and this time Illawarra beat North Queensland Cowboys 24 points to 8 in 1996 round 8 up at Townsville. Then, like I said, in 1997, Illawarra in the ARL and Cowboys in the Super League, they didn't play each other. 1998, which is the Illawarra Steelers' final year as a standalone entity, before they ended up merging with St George for the 99 season and beyond, and they still are a merged team to this very day. So the Steelers' final ever season, 1998, as a standalone entity. They ended up playing Cowboys in round 16. and the team scored 4 tries each, but it was Illawarra kicking 4 goals compared to the Cowboys' 1 goal, which gave the Steelers a 24 points to 18 win, 1998 round 16 at Wollongong. So there you go. Not the wooden spoons like I normally do, but just like a unique, like a really obscure, you know what I mean, like a really obscure piece of rugby league information right here. And shout out to the Illawarra Steelers channel. There's another channel here on YouTube called Illawarra Steelers, and he uploads a ton of old Steelers games, and I watch all of them. And he actually put this one. He actually put the 1998 round 16 highlights, and I thought, oh, that jogged my memory. Yeah, those two wouldn't have played each other very often. So shout out to Illawarra Steelers for making awesome content. And shout out to all the DL47 fans for watching this video all the way to the end and not missing out any essential rugby league information. On the grind at all times, back in the swing of things now. More videos coming AM, PM popping off. Thank you for watching. Toodaloo.